Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Super Bowl 55 overtime. Chiefs, Bucs, wowzers. Did not see that coming in any capacity whatsoever on either side. If this was going to be an ass whooping, one would have assumed it would have been Kansas City destroying Tampa Bay. But in my wildest dreams, could I have imagined a Super Bowl that in the fourth quarter, the only thing compelling was going to be commercials, and whether those would make my top 10 commercials list or not. Because this game was absolutely, without any equivocations, out of hand after the first possession of the fourth quarter, when the Buccaneers got another stop on this Chiefs offense. We talked about red zone offense being a huge factor in this game. The Chiefs went over in this game, struggled mightily against this Buccaneers defense. We'll talk more about that defense. I don't know who should get MVP because this was so dominant on the part of the Bucs. Brady was good. He wasn't great. He was more of a game manager, a damn good one, I might add, but he was more of a manager. He didn't have to make any great throws in this game. He didn't have to do anything exceedingly great. This game was never on the shoulders of Tom Brady. Literally, this looked like Tom Brady of about 15 years ago when New England was winning Super Bowls with Tom Brady just being surgical underneath. You're going to drop your linebackers out of there. I'm going to dump it down to my running back, and I'm going to convert this 3rd and 3 with a 5-yard catch. How many Gronk underneath pick passes are we going to see in this game, and the Chiefs not respond to it, not find a way to counteract or counterbalance what they're doing with Gronk? They did it on the touchdown. They did it on the 3rd down right before the half. Everything was underneath. And all the deep passes, the officials said, hey, here's a flag. Take that. So I didn't think Brady was exceptional, but he didn't have to be. And they did the thing that I said they were going to have to do to win. I didn't expect them to do it to this extent, though. And I think some of that is the fault of Andy Reid, and we'll get to that when we get to the Chiefs. But I want to focus first on the Buccaneers. Celebrate! You waited damn near 2 decades to get back here. You went out, you got Tom Brady. I myself, and I've said this a million times, did not think that this was going to work year one. I said in year 2, I wouldn't be shocked if they won a Super Bowl. There's enough talent here to do it in Tampa, but I didn't think it was going to happen in year 1. And as they head into their bye week at 7-5, losers of 3 straight, I thought that I was going to be right. Not that they were going to go 9-7. I came off of that early in the season, maybe after week 3 or 4, whatever it was. But I thought that they weren't going to win the Super Bowl, not in year 1. I was wrong about that. I was wrong about them. And you could see once they beat New Orleans, this team was gaining confidence. I still didn't think they were going to go to Lambeau and win. They did. Still didn't think they were going to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Not only did they beat the Chiefs, they dominated the Chiefs. And they did it on the defensive side of the football. This defense gained confidence as the weeks passed. They got past Washington, and you could argue that Washington might have been their stiffest competition. I mean, shit, when you look at all these games and you look at the way that they were able to win those games, they won just about every single game comfortably outside of Washington and Green Bay. And so watching them go through Washington, you expected them to win that game. New Orleans, Drew Brees was awful in that game. He couldn't throw the football. They took advantage. The defense was dominant then. And I think that's when you start to see the wheels turn for this defense. Because at the end of the season, when they were running it up on teams, I really didn't see it then because I'm like, it's Minnesota, it's Detroit, it's Atlanta twice. These are all garbage teams. None of these teams going anywhere. So you weren't really impressed. But they did what they were supposed to do, and they gained confidence with every single one of those victories. And that's the one thing you can't do with a team like this, with all this talent, is give them confidence. And that's what they got at the end of the season. And they ran that confidence into the postseason, and they started steamrolling teams. They scored 31 or more, 30 in New Orleans, 31 in every other game in the postseason. They were pretty damn consistent. 31, 30, 31, 31. So this team figured it out from an offensive standpoint. They figured it out from a defensive standpoint. And that's where we're going to start tonight. They figured it out on the defensive side. And again, I think some of the credit has to go to Andy Reid and his staff for some missteps in trying to reshuffle the deck on the offensive line. But man, I told you in the keys to the game that this had to be a collective effort up front. Boy, was it ever. I mean, the defensive tackles, Rochez Nunez and Sue and William Golston and Shaq Barrett and JPP, they were all after his ass. Even the guy, Anthony Nelson from Iowa, they were all after Mahomes' ass. Every single one of those guys up and down that defensive line at some point had a pressure and a hit in this game. They were all after Mahomes. He had nowhere to go. Early in the game, you saw Mahomes doing the Mahomes thing where he steps up in the pocket, your defensive end gets up the field, he steps up that B or C gap, and he takes off running. And he did that multiple times early in the game. And that's what Mahomes does. And I said, that's what you've got to find a way to stop that. And the way you do that is collectively rushing as a group. He's going to run backwards. He's going to run sideways. He's going to do them all. And if it wasn't for Mahomes, if this were any other quarterback in the league, not named Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, this is probably an 8-9 sack game. Because I can't tell you how many sacks he ran out of or away from or threw it just as he was about to hit the ground. I mean, this was a dominant performance up front by this unit. I can't tell you if the coverage on the back end was spectacular or not because he didn't have any time. He didn't have any time to survey the field and decide if he was going to go through his second or third read and then get the football to, Pringle or to get it to Samuel Watkins. There was no time for any of that stuff. By the time his back foot hit the ground on a 5-step drop, he had to start hauling ass in one direction or the other because somebody was coming. And it was constant all night long from the opening possession of the game to the final possession of the game. There was never any time for Mahomes. It was consistent ass whooping up front by this unit. And honestly, if they could give out an MVP trophy, it should go to that Tampa Bay Buccaneers front. It honestly should because they dominated the line of scrimmage. And I honestly thought that the Chiefs did a lot of things wrong in this game. We'll talk about that when we get to Kansas City. But God damn it, that defense was smothering. They did it to Aaron Rodgers 2 weeks ago when they sacked him 5 times, probably hit him another 5 times, and really flustered him, made him bitch up at the end of the game. They did it against Drew Brees, picked him off 3 times, forced a fumble of Jared Cook. And the only team that, again, really made this Buccaneers defense look ordinary was Washington. Every other team that they faced, they really did a number. Aaron Rodgers had some great numbers, but they got to Rodgers. They picked him off. They hit him. They sacked him. They made him uncomfortable. So this Buccaneers defense, to me, was the star of the show tonight. They were outstanding. They dominated this game. They deserve the MVP collectively as a group, and that was one of the keys to the game. You have to get to Mahomes collectively, and that they did. Another key to the game was, hey, you got to block Chris Jones. I didn't hear a peep out of him. They did a tremendous job. I don't think it was just Aaron Stinney by himself, but I know that I didn't hear a peep out of Chris Jones other than a sorry-ass personal foul penalty or unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary roughness, whatever the hell they called it, that I thought was bogus in the first half, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show as well. But at the end of the day, I thought that they did a tremendous job up front, as they've done all postseason long. They went up against Washington's vaunted defensive line, shut their asses down. They went up against New Orleans' vaunted defensive line, shut their asses down. Went up against Green Bay's vaunted line with the 2 edge rushers, the Smith brothers, and Kenny Clark inside, shut their asses down for the most part. And they did it again tonight against a very aggressive defense that likes to blitz, come after you. We saw what they did to Josh Allen a couple of weeks ago. Well, I told you that Brady and company weren't going to have that. I said, I can assure you that Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich, they're not going to allow those blitzes to hit home. They're going to throw screens. They're going to keep them off balance. They're going to get them out of that shit. If they think they're going to blitz Brady a ton tonight, they're sadly mistaken. And quickly, early in the game, they hit him with some screens and they said, hey, I don't know if you're thinking about blitzing a whole bunch tonight, but we're going to slow that shit down real quick. We got an answer for that. We're not Buffalo. We're not Brian Daboll. We damn sure ain't Josh Allen over here. Okay? We know how the game goes. Go ahead and try me if you want to. It didn't take long before Cameron Brate is catching a tight end screen and hitting them for about 20, and that shit stopped quick. After that, I didn't see a bunch of blitzes. It didn't take long before Gronk got involved, before Antonio Brown catches a little screen or a little hitch, and they said, okay, Chris Godwin right before the half catches a little screen. All right, you got us. We're going to stop blitzing. We don't want the smoke. So it was a tremendous game plan offensively. I said they had to be able to run it, and they did. Fournette was exceptional again. So was Ronald Jones. Really good collective effort running the football. They were balanced. They did everything that they needed to do. And one of the biggest keys I said for Tampa Bay to win this game, take advantage of opportunities, however they may come. However they may come. And boy, did the officials in Kansas City give you every opportunity to open this thing up in the first half. And Brady and company did not disappoint. And that's what you had to do. There was a perfect storm brewing with all the calls that the officials were making, with all of the mistakes Kansas City was making. There should not have been 21 points on the scoreboard for Tampa Bay in the first half. At best, there should have been 15 points on the scoreboard. No, not 15. I would have taken away a touchdown, obviously with the offsides penalty, which was stupid on the part of Kansas City to do that. So that takes away 4 points. That makes it 17. And then you take away another touch. So it should have been 13, honestly speaking. Should have been 13 points because I didn't think that was pass interference on Mike Evans. I'm sorry. Neither one of them. I didn't think either one of them were pass interference. Either one of them. You go back, you watch that play, and Evans tripped up Bashaud Breeland, and then his foot hits the ground and it trips him. In slow motion, it's easy for us to see that. The official running down the field, it's hard for him to be able to. I didn't think that was pass interference, personally. And then the second one in the end zone on Tyrann Mathieu, are you kidding me? How is that ball even catchable? Seriously, we're calling pass interference there? So that should have been a field goal at best. And there's no guarantee without the Brady PI that they called the first one on Bashaud Breeland that you even get a field goal out of that possession. It's at most 13 should have been the point total at half, but between the officials and Kansas City with all their mistakes in this game, gave you an opportunity to make it 21-6, and you took advantage of it. And that's what you had to do, and you did that in this game. So I thought that the Buccaneers really controlled the action on both sides of the football. I mean, they were outstanding defensively. I mean, Mahomes has never had a game where he didn't score a touchdown in the first half. Never. Or I take that back, through 3 quarters. Never had a game where he hadn't scored a touchdown through 3 quarters. I can't think of a game in which they've been dominated like this, and they already had said that Mahomes had never lost a game by double digits. Never. Got his doors blown off in this game and didn't even hit double digits in terms of points. Didn't score a single touchdown in this game. Unbelievable how good the Buccaneers were defensively. And for me, Devin White's my MVP. I don't know who got the trophy. I don't know who. They're probably going to give the shit to Brady because they always give it to Brady. Devin White was the best player on the field, and it wasn't even close. The guy is ridiculous. I want one of those so bad. It's not even funny. I want one of those guys so bad. I know they don't grow on trees. They don't make those types of players. All right. On an every year basis. Those are once every decade type of linebackers. God damn, he's good. Shit, man. Are you kidding me? Devin effing White. Whew. Man, I tell you what. Dominant performance by this Buccaneers defense. Fournette, and I thought Gronk had a phenomenal game. 2 touchdown grabs for him. L.A.B getting involved early and often in this football game. As I mentioned, Brady was 16-20 at halftime. Again, not for a ton of yards, but he was surgical underneath. And the reason he could do that is because the Chiefs weren't scoring offensively. And so it allowed them to do everything at their pace. They didn't have to try to keep pace. This wasn't a game that you felt like, oh my God, We got to score on every possession. We got to go for it. If it's 4th and 3, we got to push the envelope because we know they're going to score, 35 points tonight. The defense told them early, it ain't that type of party tonight. Y'all do it the way y'all need to do it. If you need to run it on 1st down, run it on 2nd down, and get to 3rd and 3, do that. You got plenty of time. Do your thing. If you got to settle for a field goal here, do your thing. We got you. Shut their asses down. Shut the faucet. Never seen a Patrick Mahomes faucet shut completely off. But that's what they did tonight. And there were a number of different reasons as to why. But, man, that was as dominant a performance as we've seen in the Super Bowl in quite some time. And I felt like Dumb and Dumber. I didn't even see it coming. I didn't even see it coming. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't supposed to be this kind of game. Of all the Super Bowls we've had over the last 7 years, this was the one that was supposed to be edge of your seat thriller. Quarterback with the football last might win it. And this is what we get? An ass thrashing? Wow. Let's start, though, on the Kansas City side of things, and then we're going to get to some of your super chats. So Kansas City, I thought, did a number of things wrong in this game. Before the game even starts, Andy Reid's son, I'm going to leave that alone. That was a precursor of, I guess, what was to come for this team. But Andy Reid and his staff playing musical chairs with the offensive line was their first mistake. A wise man once told me, when you've got a big glaring hole on your offensive line, the worst thing you can do is take another guy from another position that's a starter and move him and plug up one hole, because what you possibly are doing now is you're weakening another spot on your offensive line. So instead of you saying, all right, because my right tackle is good, I'm going to move him to left tackle. I'm going to move another guy from guard to right tackle because I just moved my right tackle to left tackle, and I'm going to plug in some rando at right guard. Yeah, that sounds good. If that sounds like a smart idea to you, Andy Reid, you need to wash your face and get your damn mind right. That shit was stupid. Leave your right tackle at right tackle. Stick in a new left tackle. Help his ass out. Chip if you got to, whatever. And leave your guard at guard. You took one position, left tackle, that was effed up with the injury to Eric Fisher. And you effed up 3 positions. You effed up 3 positions by trying to fix one. Where's the psychological sense in that, player? You were getting beat at left tackle because your left tackle is really a right tackle. You were getting beat at right tackle because your right tackle is actually a right guard. And you're getting beat at guard because the guard that's supposed to be at guard was at right tackle. Where's the psychological sense in play? It just didn't make any sense. So there were times where Mahomes, there was a 3rd down. I want to say it was right before the half, where the score at that time was 14-3, I think it was. And it's like a 3rd and 3, maybe a 3rd and 6, something like that. And they snapped the ball. I said, this has got to be a screen, because before Mahomes could even grab the laces on the ball, he's got 3 guys coming at him, and he's running backwards 20 yards, and ends up throwing it barely back to the line of scrimmage. I'm like, what the hell was that? I don't know. Don't ask me. I just know nobody blocked. And that was the case too many times tonight. And I'm blaming Andy Reid for that, because you playing musical chairs at the offensive line in the biggest game of the season is the worst time for you to do this. The absolute worst time. Let's put that aside, though. The Bucs have been dominant in the postseason getting to the quarterback, so they might have gotten to him anyway. But you made it a lot easier for him. But I was disappointed in their inability to get the football in the hands of playmakers. Samuel Watkins, I didn't hear his name until like maybe the fourth quarter, fourth quarter, somewhere in there. Travis Kelce was a big-time playmaker in the first half. He had a drop on the 3rd down. I mean, I talked about taking advantage of opportunities. That's another opportunity. Drop on third down. They got to punt the football. But he slipped on a third down play. You had Tyreek Hill, who destroyed them, and I knew Todd Bowles wasn't having that shit. I said, okay, the one thing I can count on, this is why I kept talking about Sammy Watkins. This is why he's going to be huge, because I knew Todd Bowles was going to take away Tyreek Hill. He said, look, 10 got us last time. He won't get us this time. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. I didn't think they did a good enough job of getting the football in the hands of playmakers. They made it way too easy on Tampa Bay in this game. And again, it starts up front. They couldn't block them. And so I don't know what was going on in the back end. They could have been getting torched. They could have been having tremendous coverage. I just know that there was always someone on Mahomes' ass, and he was running for his life the entire game. And so I thought they killed themselves with penalties in the first half. I thought the officials were just brutal in the first half. I mean, you got the penalty on Chris Jones on a 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6. Defense for the Chiefs still playing really well in this game. It's 7-3. They're playing really good ball. It's going to be 3rd and 6, and you're going to call a bullshit ass unnecessary roughness penalty on whatever the hell it was on Chris Jones, and he's just pushing back and forth with Jensen? Are you kidding me? It's the goddamn Super Bowl. What are you doing? Like, I thought in the first half, they were calling this the polar opposite of the way the officials called it in Championship Sunday. And I thought the way the officials handled Championship Sunday was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. I'm like, man, they're letting them play. They are mugging each other out. This is what football is supposed to be. Let them decide it on the field. And then you get these touchy-feely referees in this game that want to call everything. Oh, you're pushing? You sneezed on him. That's 15. Uh-oh. He's coming out of his break, and they're jostling, and Mike Evans is pushing, and he's tugging, holding. It's a pick, but I'm going to give it back to Brady. Bullshit. I thought the officials were awful in the first half. Awful. That doesn't excuse Kansas City for having a guy off sides. It doesn't excuse Kansas City for giving up touchdowns when they could have forced them to settle for field goals. It doesn't excuse Kansas City's offense and how atrocious they were in the first half. But the officials, they didn't make it easy on Kansas City. They made it very tough on them to succeed in this game. They really did. They really did. Especially, I thought the most egregious thing, even though I hated the Chris Jones call, thought it was bullshit. I thought the drive before the half was just excruciating to watch by this officiating crew. You get the first pass interference, and then you get the one in the end zone took the cake. Because I don't blame the official running down the sidelines. He can't tell that Mike Evans' foot hit the ground and that's what tripped him and it wasn't really Bashaber. He can't see that. We got the advantage of watching it at home in slow motion. I didn't have a problem with that one. I didn't like the call. I didn't think it was pass interference, but okay, fine. The second one in the end zone, you've got to be effing kidding me. It's the Super Bowl. What are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing? You're going to take away an interception from Brady, and then you're going to give them one in the end zone right here? That ball was 20 feet over Mike Evans' head. Don't tell me that shit was catchable, because it wasn't. Unbelievable. I didn't love the officiating in this game. I thought they were awful. It was 8-1. The one penalty the Buccaneers had was an offsides. Everything else was on Kansas City. You've got to be kidding me. Let them play. It's the Super Bowl. They worked too hard to get here for you to decide that you want to impart yourself into the game. They literally made themselves a topic of discussion for the first half. And as a referee, your job is to be invisible unless it's egregious. They were out of control in the first half. But again, I take nothing away from the Bucs. They took advantage of the opportunities that Kansas City gave them. Like the goddamn punter shanking it twice. What are you doing, guy? You had a dumbass penalty, and that was a penalty on Neiman for holding. He had to do it because the dumbass punter dropped the football on the ground, and if he didn't hold the guy, he probably would have blocked the kick. But then he booms it 56 yards, and it's a great special teams tackle by Pringle. And you're like, okay, he flipped field position. They're going to have to go 70 yards if they want a touchdown. Well, Neiman got caught with his hand in the cookie jar holding, and it was a great call. Well, do it again. Kick the shit out of it again. And he shanks it. Man, he was awful in this game. And another thing, Kansas City had some tremendous field position to start this game off. Their first two possessions, the 37, the 33, and the 37. They had excellent field position. And they squandered it. Give this Buccaneers defense some credit, man. Jesus, they were outstanding. They were electrifying in this game. Chiefs got down there, they got stopped. This Buccaneers defense, again, they were the ones that if I were making the decision, somebody on that defense, for me it would be Devin White. They were the ones that deserved the MVP because they dictated the outcome of this football game. They really did. And you could see that the Chiefs got caught up in worrying about the officials in the first half instead of worrying about why Gronk is wide ass open. And it's funny, I don't like to do the whole, officials thing because just like I said in the Deflategate game, when people were complaining, oh my God, the Patriots cheated. Shut up. The Patriots won by like 35 points. Don't talk to me about cheating when you get your ass beat by 35. Okay? A call here, a call there doesn't impact the game when you get your ass beat by 35. Whatever the score was in that deflate game against the Colts. Same thing here. I don't want to hear about the officials this, the officials that. You got your ass run 31-9. But there were some missed calls. There were some bad calls. It doesn't matter. Some of this stuff was self-inflicted by the Chiefs. Self-inflicted. A drop on third down. Your punter shanks it. You squander great field position. Like, this is all on you. You offsides on a field goal. Your defense gets a stop, forces a field goal. You're offsides. You did that. That's on you. So, say what you want. But at the end of the day, this Buccaneers defense was downright disgusting and nasty and filthy, and I loved it. Loved it. And it was a perfect storm. Mahomes wasn't healthy. Goddamn, Mahomes did everything in his power. I swear. He didn't have any help. He threw one up for grabs after scrambling around for 30 seconds, almost getting sacked 6 times, and he throws it to the running back, Darrell Williams, and it hits him in his goddamn face. What is he supposed to do? He scrambles around, and he eludes, he evades, he throws it up to Tyreek Hill on the opening possession, hits him in his damn face. What is he supposed to do? Walk up and hand him the damn ball? I don't know what they want him to do when he was under siege the entire game. Anyway, let's get to some of these comments. I got a super chat here from Derek Only. Thank you for the super chat, Derek Only. Greatly appreciate you. Derek Only writes, hey, Lou, defense wins championship football. Gods punish the Chiefs for calling Pat a GOAT too early. Let's go get a franchise quarterback, Washington football team. I keep trying to tell people that you can win Super Bowls with defense. And I get it. It's Tom Brady. If you're out there, you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the LouieTeeNetwork for more great content. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing and hit that like button. This is more proof that you can win a Super Bowl playing elite defense. You need to play some sort of defense to win. And if you're going to beat the likes of a Patrick Mahomes, this is the only way you're going to do it. I guarantee you, if the defense wasn't as dominant as it was tonight and it's turned into a shootout, the Bucs would have had everything that they thought they were going to show up and get coming their way. And they may not have been on the right end of this thing. But because the defense was so dominant, and we could talk about their offensive line, and we could talk about Mahomes with his toe injury. Forget all about that. Because we weren't talking about, well, in fairness, Eric Fisher didn't get hurt to the last possession of the Bills game. But we weren't talking about Mahomes' toe when he was shredding the Bills a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not going to make that a big issue now. The bottom line is their defensive front dominated, and that's what you have to have when you play an offense like this. If you don't, you're going to get scorched. I don't care how good your secondary is. If you don't get pressure, somebody's going to get open. The best way to alleviate that is to get after the quarterback. Don't give him time to find the guys down the field, and that's what the Bucs did in this football game. You want to win against these types of teams, you better be able to get after the quarterback without having to blitz. They didn't blitz after Mahomes in this game. This wasn't Devin White in one of his 9 sacks this season. This was them rushing 4 and just whooping ass. Let's see. Got another one here from John Perez. My man JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. JP writes, wow, I did not expect that Chiefs offense to completely go silent, but I'm glad for Reed. And I know you're mad as hell because you did not want Brady to win. I came off of that a couple of weeks ago. I did not want Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. Once they got here, all bets were off. I told you I had a buddy of mine that I didn't want to win, the Bucs to win, because he's a massive Buccaneers fan. But I told you, if the Bucs won, I'd be more happy for Reed and Atlas and guys like that are massive Bucs fans that have been rocking with me for the longest time, that have waited for this opportunity. I told you I wanted them to win. And I said it kind of was hard for me because on one end, I got my buddy in my ear chirping. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit for the remainder of the spring and into the summer. But then I got my guys like Reed and Atlas and some of these Buccaneers fans that have been waiting for this for so long. And I know how much it means to them. And so I'm like, if they lose, I shut him up. But if they win, I'm happy for those dudes. So I am happy for my man Reed and Atlas and all of those guys out there that are massive Buccaneers fans and have waited for this opportunity to come. So I'm happy for those guys, and I'm glad that they got it done. And it's crazy because they could do this again next year. I would not be shocked if they were back in the Super Bowl again. Who's going to stop them? I told my buddy last week, I'm like, who's stopping you from getting back here next year? Like, I didn't expect them to win this Super Bowl. But I said, you'll be back again next year, and who's to stop you from getting back and potentially winning it next year? Well, the shit, they won, and they won in dominant fashion, and they're only going to get better. Yeah, they got some free agents, Chris Godwin and Levante David and some guys that they'll need to worry about bringing back. But if they're able to find a way to bring back the whole cavalry and the whole gang, like, who's stopping them from getting back here again? I mean, seriously. Got another super chat, and I think I missed some with all the comments in here. And I really apologize if you super chatted and I missed it early on in the show. My man BD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Barrett Downing writes, not what I wanted in the Super Bowl, but respect to you. I appreciate you, BD. I told you when I don't have a dog in the fight, and I didn't, the only thing I ask for is a good game. That is not what we got here, okay? This never felt at halftime when they took, and you know, it's Mahomes, so I didn't quit, and I didn't think this was over, and we've seen Mahomes and his Chiefs offense rev it up and turn it on, but this felt different. Even at halftime, I'm talking to my dad, and I was talking all kinds of shit with my dad, and my dad was telling me, I'm telling you right now, they can't move it on this defense. And I'm like, bullshit, they can't. And he's like, no, they can't. Their offensive line, and I was like, you're right about the offensive line. And everything he was saying was true, and I just didn't want to acknowledge it because I wanted a good game, and I saw where this was heading. This was trending. He's like, and Tampa Bay's moving the ball on their ass on defense, and they falling apart. You got Matthew over here getting in Brady's face, and you got guys fussing at each other, and they complaining about the officials. They falling apart on defense, too. And I'm like, you're right, I can't. And there was nothing I could say. Every point that Boss was bringing up was 100% spot on. And all of that shit played out in the second half. And I didn't want to admit it because it was trending towards an ass whooping. And the one thing I always ask for in Super Bowls is that we have a competitive game. Nobody wants to, if it's not your team. Plus, trust me, Tampa Bay Bucs fans was like, pour the shit on. Pour it on thick. Run it up the 40. Take a 40 burger, bite out of a 40 burger on these bastards. Yeah, run it up. Run the goddamn check up. If you're anybody but a Bucs fan, you're like, please come back and make this shit competitive. In the fourth quarter, I'm making a list of the best top 10 commercials that I was watching. That's the shit I'm doing in the fourth quarter of an ass whooping like this. I was really disappointed in Kansas City. I thought this was a poorly coached, and we don't say this often about the Chiefs. Rarely are they outcoached. I thought they were outcoached. I thought they were outcoached on offense. I thought they were outcoached on defense. And here's the thing about the Chiefs on offense that was so disappointing, and I talked about this in the keys to the game. I told them the adjustment that Todd Bowles is going to make is he's going to have two deep safeties, okay? They're going to have a too high look for the entire game because the guy that they are not going to allow to beat them is Tyreek Hill. So you're going to have all kinds of space to run the football. And I expect a heavy dose of Clyde Edwards-Helaire if they're giving you soft boxes. And what did they have all first half? Soft boxes. What did they do on that opening possession of the third quarter? They ran it and they had some success. And really how they got down the field was on the legs of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And I said, you should have been doing that from the jump. You should have been running the football. I get it. The Bucs are the number one rush defense, and I understand that. But I knew they weren't going to have force them to bring the safety up. The thing that I told you about the Chiefs, that I said, this is going to make them more dangerous. Remember the first game of the season against the Texans? Clyde Edwards-Helaire had like 27 carries for like 160 yards or whatever it was. And I was like, whew, wow, okay. The Texans played two high safeties the entire game and said, I dare you to run. You don't want to run. Run it. And the Chiefs said, okay, if that's what you're going to do, you asked for it. And they ran it down their throats. And they did that in games this season, like the Bills game, for instance, where the Bills said, not giving up anything big. You want it? You're going to have to run for it. And they did. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with like 25 carries for like 135 yards. That was this type of game. You're going to have to run them out of that too high safety look. Make one of those safeties get nosy, and the minute they do, that's when you attack down the field. They never did it. They never tried to run them out of that look. They tried to throw them out of that look. Well, you're playing right into their hands. I just thought it was a really bad plan by the Chiefs offensively. But again, got to give credit to that defense of the Buccaneers. They were outstanding in this game. Got another super chat. This one is from Fat American. Thank you for the super chat, Fat American. Greatly appreciate you. My man, Fat American, writes, man, with the way the Chiefs played today, I feel like even we could have beat them with Heineke at quarterback. Nah, don't do that. Because unlike this Bucs defense that was swarming, that everybody was getting to Mahomes and forcing him to run around, our defense was silent when we had a pocket passer in Tom Brady back there. Now, granted, this Buccaneers offensive line was much maligned during the season, especially during the early portion of the season. They were lights out in the postseason. They faced some of the stiffest competition from a defensive line standpoint throughout the playoffs. In Washington, in New Orleans, in Green Bay, not necessarily Kansas City. I told you, Frank Clark is a joke. You know, everybody builds Frank. He's a clown. All right? He had one good play tonight, too. He had the sack on a stunt inside, and then he had the play when they tried to run Scotty Miller on the little end around, and he blew that one up. Other than that, what did Frank Clark, what noise did he make? What impact did he have? And so I knew they weren't going to get pressure unless it was Chris Jones, and they shut him down. They shut down Chris Jones, and I said unless they blitz, they're not going to get pressure on Brady, and if they don't get pressure on Brady, they're going to pay for that. But the crazy part was, even though they didn't get pressure on Brady, Brady wasn't pushing it down the field. Brady wasn't hurting them like he hurt Green Bay or Washington with passes down the field. Brady was hurting them underneath. You know why? Because they were able to nickel and dime them on first and second down. They were able to because they were trying to get the Chiefs out of that blitz. And so they said, hey, underneath quick throws, ball out of Brady's hands, get them from blitzing. It might only be a 3-yard game, but guess what? You're going to respect these short passes. And while they're doing that, you never go broke making a profit, a wise man once told me. So now it's 2nd and 7. And on 2nd and 7, they run it and they get 4. Now it's 3rd and 3. They're like, all right, I'm going to dump it down to Fournette. Let's start these downs over again. 1st and 10. Let's try this again. Okay, quick hit to Antonio Brown for 4. All right, we're going to throw another one underneath. This time it's to Godwin for another 4. It's 3rd and 2. All right, we're going to throw it underneath to Fournette. Or we're going to dump it down to Gronk on a quick little pick play. Boom, let's move the sticks. Let's do this all over again. We can do this all day if that's what you want to do. They really controlled the tempo, the pace, and when they got opportunities, they scored touchdowns. And so I felt like they did the thing the Bucs did against the Chiefs that we couldn't do to the Bucs. That's get pressure with 4. We wouldn't have beat anybody with the defense we played against the Bucs in Wild Card Weekend. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Got another super chat. This next one is from Martin Matthews. Thank you for the super chat, Martin Matthews. My man, Double M. Thank you for the super chat who writes, hey, Louie, this game answers the argument of choosing quarterback over Chase. Without a defense, it doesn't matter who's the quarterback. Ha, 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 that damn Brady. You know, God damn Brady, man. 7 Super Bowl rings. Are you kidding me? I mean, if you watch football long enough, you know that a quarterback gives you a chance every single year if you got an elite one. But in order to win a Super Bowl, unless neither of the defenses are any good, and you have just a flat-out shootout, if you can play defense, that's what wins championships. It'll never, ever die. Championships are won by defense a lot of times. And, you know, you may look at the final score and it may be 31-28, and you may say the defenses didn't do this, they didn't do that. Well, somebody had to get a stop. Somebody had to make a play. Somebody had to do something. That's when you need your defense to step up and make something happen. And the Bucs continuously did it in this game. And conversely, we were looking for the Chiefs' defense to make a play, to force an interception. They did it in the first half, and it was a shame that the officiating crew decided to take that interception away from them. But you were waiting for them to make a play. They got off the field on the 4th down. They got the stop on the 4th and goal. They made some plays early, and they waited for the offense to do something, and it never happened. And eventually, the dam broke. The dam broke. Got another super chat. This next one is from Fat American once again. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Fat American, who writes, Chiefs couldn't even get to Brady. Nobody in the postseason really got to Brady. The Chiefs looked bad in general. And that was my thing, was that this Buccaneers offensive line, again, when you watched them early in the season against Chicago, you watched them on that Sunday night versus New Orleans, they looked like a team that you could get pressure on Brady against. Their offensive line looked like they were going to fold under the pressure of the teams in the NFC up front, against a Washington defensive front, against a New Orleans defensive front, and what they can provide with Cam Jordan and Trey Hendrickson and all of those guys. It looked like they were going to fold against the Smith brothers and Kenny Clark on the interior against Green Bay, and they didn't. And that I knew they were going to protect Brady in this game. The only thing that I thought that Kansas City could do to fluster Brady was to blitz him. And they bitched up, because for me, I said it 2 weeks ago when the Packers showed too much respect to Brady, when they didn't put their foot on the gas pedal before the half, and it backfired on them. I thought the Chiefs, you've been a team that has blitzed after quarterbacks and gotten after. Early on, you saw them hitting you with screens and things of that nature, but there were a couple of times where I said, you got to come after Brady and just make them hurt you then. Make them hurt you one big time so that you can say, okay, all right, we really need to back off now. They never really hurt them big on a screen. Just that one to Cameron Brate, but it wasn't like it was a massive, 37, a 52-yard gain. It was a 20-yard game. It was a nice screen. But the perfect example of the Chiefs not being themselves was a 3rd and 4, big one too. It felt big. The Chiefs go down and get a field goal to start the third quarter, It's 21-9, and you're like, man, if you've ever needed a stop, now's the time to get it. And it's 3rd and 4. And the Chiefs come crowd the line of scrimmage, and they bring up a safety, and they bring up a backer, and they're mugging these gaps. One's mugging the A gap. One's mugging the B gap. And I'm like, all right, this is what you got to do. You got to heat his ass up. Make him make a decision. They got the back end ready to block. And now it's just everybody got one-on-one matchups. If you can get to Brady fast enough, then it's a sack or it's a throwaway. Or if, you can find a way, maybe Chris Jones gets his hands up, deflects, because Brady's got to get rid of it a little faster. They drop out. They only rushed 4, and those guys drop out. And the backer turns his head, and he's looking to get depth to get behind on the crosser. And Brady says, oh, really? And Fournette says, well, y'all don't need me. It's 5 of y'all up front. They only rushed 4. We thought they were blitzing. I was staying in to protect. You don't need me, so I'm going to just go ahead and get out. So he gets out. And Brady's like, hey, Leonard. Leonard's like, yeah. He's like, here, got it. Boop. Ran for 8 on 3rd and 4, first down. That, in essence, is what the short, quick passing game did to the Chiefs. It made them stop doing the things that they've done to be successful, which is blitz. And it forced them to start dropping into coverage. And Brady's like, oh, you gonna give me some soft underneath? Boop. I'm gonna drop that then. I'm gonna drop that right off and pick up this first down, move the sticks, and they ultimately finished that drive with a touchdown. That was really all she wrote. When it was 20, that's when I said, this thing is really over, isn't it? Even as Mahomes took these boys down on the last possession of the 3rd quarter, in that first possession, it bled over into the 4th quarter. I felt like it was over. Like, I don't know if they have anything in the tank for these boys. I just don't see it. And they got stopped, and I said, yeah, this is done. I thought it was over. After Brady, that was the response. That was the back-breaking response. They get a field goal. You need to stop. Really, the Chiefs needed a touchdown out of the gate, out of halftime. But they get a field goal, but you're like, okay, fine. Get a stop. And they went right down the field, and they didn't answer with a field goal. They answered with a touchdown. I said, oh, shit. Well, this one's over. These boys are not playing with your ass. Anyway, got another super chat. This next one is from Fat American. Thank you for tripling up, Fat American. Greatly appreciate you, my man. Fat American writes, bro, come on. The Bucs scored 31 points every postseason game they played. With how the Chiefs look today, we could have won, no doubt in my mind. Nah. First of all, we don't score 30 nothing. All right, that's not who we are. We scored 23. I don't give a shit how bad the Chiefs look today. They would have beat our ass. Trust me. Okay. This Bucs team was that good. All right, really good. So, no, I don't buy that one for 1 second. You can feel that way. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. We weren't beating anybody at any point in this playoffs. We got as far as we were probably supposed to go with the quarterback situation and the defense playing the way that they did. We got as far as we were supposed to go. Protect Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my man. Protect Sports writes, you and I called it, bro. The Chiefs need to run through lighter boxes, which Kansas City didn't. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was supposed to eat, shaking my head. What the F, bro? Damn shame. I was so disappointed in their inability to decipher what they were doing. I mean, it was apparent from the first possession of the game. 2 high safeties, man. You're going to have to run us out of this. And I know the Bucs have the number 1 rush defense. And I know they got Vita Vea back last game. And I know William Goldston and Ndamukong Suh and these guys are dogs up front. Okay. Make them make plays. They got 6 guys in the box. 2 deep safeties. Run their asses out of that 2 deep shell. Run them out of that shit. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. I got another super chat here from Jizzle. Thank you for the super chat, Jizzle. Greatly appreciate you. Jizzle writes, bring on the offseason, Lou. Let's go. Too excited. Well, this was a whimper of a coronation of the season, which was a fantastic season, one that was really extraordinary when you look back at the pandemic and how it affected all the other sports and games in those sports and teams in those respective sports. For the NFL to pretty much get through this thing unscathed. There were a couple of breaks in action in terms of the Titans and the Ravens with their situation, and they had to shuffle around some games, but they got every single game, all 256 of them played. And they didn't have to extend the season out a week or two to accommodate games that got postponed or, this, that, or the third. This was an outstanding accomplishment and feat pulled off by the NFL. And unfortunately, we got a dud to wrap this thing up. If you're a Bucs fan, no, this was everything you could have dreamed of. But for us non-Buccaneer fans, this was a dud. The Bucs dominated this thing really from the opening whistle. And so this was an outstanding game, man. And you know what? I thought Tony Romo said something really eloquent, and he said it well. If you watch that game in the regular season, the Chiefs jumped on them early, but the Bucs clawed back, and they didn't give up anything really in that second half. The Chiefs really held on for dear life in that game. And this was kind of a continuation of that. If you look at it like that, they dominated the first quarter and, the first half of that game, but the Bucs really put the clamps on the Chiefs in that game in the second half and really in the fourth quarter and gave them a chance to have, be a stop away from potentially getting the football with a chance to win. So this Super Bowl probably shouldn't have been that much of a surprise, but again, none of us saw Mahomes and the offense struggling in the way that they did. Nobody saw the offensive line having the struggles. And again, I thought Andy Reid did his offensive line a disservice by shuffling the deck. This is too big of a game to take your right tackle, put him at left tackle, take your right guard, put him at right tackle, and put in a new right guard. You just effed up 3 positions because one guy's out. Just put in a new left tackle, leave your right guard at right guard, leave your right tackle at right tackle, and just, if you got to help the left tackle, help the damn left tackle. You start shuffling the cards around, and now everybody's screwed. It was a mess. He made it a mess. I got another super chat. This one is from Fat American. Thank you for your 4th super chat of the night, Fat American. Greatly appreciate you as always. Fat American writes, well, I'm going to have to disagree with you, brother. What do you think about these Sam Darnold rumors? You like him? I haven't seen him play, so I don't know. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to do a video about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about that on the podcast. So you're going to get a lot of content out of me this week. It's a short week for me. We'll talk about why on the podcast tomorrow, but it's going to be a busy week. A lot of content coming out of this channel and this brand, and really it's going to start to rev up here as we get into the offseason now, as the final game has been played. Got another super chat. This one is from Diesel the Hog. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Diesel the Hog writes, this is a good example of why Washington should not trade the farm for Watson. Takes a team to win championships. Brady was just a link in the chain on a great team. Tampa's D won this championship. This is a great example of what I was trying to illustrate. Now, Brady is not just any quarterback. So I don't want to come off as I'm conveying Brady, as just a above average, because I'm telling you, you can win a Super Bowl with an above average quarterback if you have an elite defense. Brady's elite still at 43. So let's not compare us to the Bucs, but this is an example of you need defense, because if this defense wasn't dominant tonight, the outcome isn't what it is. Yeah, Brady was good and the offense was good, but this was about the defense. Don't get it twisted. Mahomes hasn't looked this bad. He didn't even look this bad in last year's Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. And he had 10 points up until the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter. And he didn't look this bad. Now, again, different circumstances, different offensive line. He wasn't injured in that game last year. It doesn't matter. They were dominated. And the defense for Tampa Bay was a huge part of the reason why. And that's all I've been trying to explain to people is that defense wins championships. You play defense, elite defense, not good. And the Buccaneers all season long haven't been elite defensively. They just started playing championship caliber ball. And remember what I told you when they beat Green Bay? I said one of the most critical possessions was after the third Brady pick. And you're saying it, well, actually, it was the first Brady pick. No, it was the third. I'm right. It's the third Brady pick because it was the second Brady pick. After the second Brady pick, it was 28-23. And Rodgers and company had just come roaring back, and you felt like, here it is. Here they come. They just scored a touchdown. They went for the 2-point conversion. They didn't get it, but they were hot now. And Brady throws an interception. And they go on the field, 3 and out. And they get the ball back, and Brady throws another interception. And what does the defense do? Come on the field, 3 and out. I said, that's some championship shit right there. That's championship football for your ass. They may not have been extraordinary against Green Bay, but when they had to be, they made plays. And I said that in a tweet. I came on the show afterwards, and I said, that's that championship shit. That's what champs do. Adversity hits, we gonna turn it up. No, seriously, turn it up. They turned it up. That shit was the volume was all the way up. They turned it all the way up. It was up 10. A 10 after 10 from the start of this game. And they never turned the defensive intensity down. Even down to Winfield telling Tyreek Hill, peace. Gave him a little dose of his own medicine. They were dominant. Got another super chat. This one is from Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat, Metaphor. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, Missed SC. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Again, so many comments. You know how it goes. Double up. So that means you hit me up earlier. So I appreciate you, Metaphor. He says, good to see our defensive rookie of the year Chase on pregame. We gave him that most hell in the playoffs. Reminder, NFC effing East champs. Stand up. Yes. Never let them forget. But on a night like tonight when we're crowning the Super Bowl champions, you kind of got to take a step back and acknowledge the Super Bowl champions for what they just did. And so the Bucs are now the champs. Celebrate. Damn it. You waited for damn near 2 decades to be able to say it. But here you are. Home. You ain't got to get on no flight. You ain't got to get on a bus. You already at the crib. Turn it up, man. As a wise man once told me, it starts with hard work. It ends in champagne. Pop the bottles tonight, Tampa. You did it at the crib. I guess it really is Tampa Bay. So, really impressive shit, man. Seriously, it started with disrespect, the utmost of the highest order from me. 9-7, missing the postseason, all of that good jazz. It ends in the ultimate respect. Salute. Y'all boys were outstanding. And when you had to be, you were at your best. So, this Buccaneers team, man, they're a team. Ryan Suckup was awesome in the postseason. Remember all the issues the Bucs had with field goal kickers? He cleaned that up nice and tidy for them this year. Was outstanding throughout the playoffs. Was big in his Super Bowl. Because you know what I was saying? When he was kicking that 52-yard, I'm like, hey, this could be the break they need. Got the snap over Brady's head. Got to kick a long 52-yarder. He misses this kick. They get excellent field position. This could be the break. Nope. He put the 3 on the board. 31-9. In case you were thinking some crazy shit, I'm going to put it to bed right now. It's 31-9. Get out of my face. Touche. Touche, Ryan Suckup. Touche. So, all facets. Jadon Mickens. I thought he was exceptional against the Green Bay Packers. They got it from everybody, man. Special teams, offense, defense. The offense wasn't good against New Orleans. It wasn't. They were fantastic. They were absolutely fantastic against Washington. The reason they won that game wasn't because of the defense, because of the offense. The defense was the reason they won against New Orleans. Offense wasn't great. Defense picked them up. It was a combination of the two against Green Bay. They needed the defense. They needed the offense. The defense was the story here in this game. Brady, again, solid 16 to 20, like 130, 40 yards, whatever it was at halftime, 3 touchdowns. But again, he did what the Chiefs allowed him to do. Oh, you want to give me underneath? Okay, I'll take it. You going to give me Gronk one-on-one? Okay, I'll take it. You going to give us a little easy rub route with Gronk coming across the formation? You're not going to check him? Okay, I'll take that. Oh, you going to give me Antonio Brown one-on-one with Tyrann Mathieu outside? Oh, my God. I'm supposed to be afraid. Okay, break his ass off something proper. Boop, touchdown. Everything you give me, I'm going to take it. Oh, you want to give me another chance after we had to settle for a field goal? Don't mind if I do. Man, y'all are being too damn generous in this first half. Thank you. Oh, you gonna give me another chance after we got stopped on the 1 yard line? You're gonna shank a punt for 24 yards? You shouldn't have. Thank you. Oh my God. This is outrageous. We can't thank you enough. They didn't want it, and Brady and the Bucs definitely wanted it. Let's see. Got another super chat. This one is from Will Morris. And again, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And of course, hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Over 550 of you out there. Let's get the likes to up over 200 if at all possible. Will Morris says, I feel for KC, bro. Went through a similar butt whooping back in 84. It was brutal, 38-9. That D was on point tonight, but KC will be back. Yes, they will. They will be indeed back in the Super Bowl. This is just a bump in the road. You're going to take your lumps. You're not going to be perfect. You know what is crazy, though? I didn't know this until Jim Nantz brought this up. JPP is now a sparkling 8-0 in his career in the postseason. Unbelievable. He's never, ever lost in the postseason. Can you believe that? He had 2 times in the postseason with the Giants, or was it once with the Giants? I think it was once with the Giants. They were a wild card back in 2011. He won that Super Bowl. They won 4 games to get to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots. And he was the wild card here. Had to go on the road 3 times, and then, it's crazy you played the Super Bowl at home, but you played every game before that on the road. And won 4 in a row here. And he's now 8-0 in the postseason. Wow. That's impressive. It's really impressive. He hasn't lost a playoff. He doesn't know what it feels like to lose in the playoffs yet. So that's impressive. And on the flip side of that, Patrick Mahomes has 2 postseason losses under his belt as a starter. Both of them coming to one Thomas Brady. Yikes. This Brady boy, I tell you, he is the man. He is the effing man. Indeed. My man Metaphor, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you. My man Metaphor writes, there's no Chiefs in the champagne room. Ain't no Chiefs in the champagne room. Ain't no Chiefs in the champagne room. Ain't no Chiefs in the champagne room. Ooh. No damn Chiefs in the champagne room tonight. Only Bucs in the champagne room. All right. So what I want to do right now, I got no more super chats, is I want to quickly go over my top 10 commercials from the Super Bowl. I actually thought the commercials were good. First of all, let me state this. I'm not a tearjerker guy. Like, don't bring me the sad ass Toyota commercial with the swimmer with no legs. Like, that's not the shit I'm looking for. Now, that's for somebody else. That's not for me. You know, don't try to evoke that kind of emotion out of me during the Super Bowl. I don't need to see that shit. I I want to laugh. I want to see some funny shit. That's what I'm looking for. Those are the commercials I remember. And I did remember the Toyota commercial from tonight. You know, but I want to laugh. Those are the commercials that I remember. So let's go through my top 10 commercials real quick. Number 10, the Cheetos commercial with Shaggy. It was okay. It barely made the list. If this list were trimmed to 7, obviously this wouldn't be on the list. I thought it was okay. But that commercial was fine. I didn't have a problem with it, but it's number 10. Number 9 was the Alexa commercial with Michael B. Jordan in it. I thought it was funny. You know, she was really, really feeling that Alexa a little bit too much. Number 8, State Farm commercial with Drake. Thought that was a really good commercial. I like that one a lot. But we've seen commercials like that before. You know, I don't know if it was necessarily State Farm that did it, but in any event. Number 7, Michelob seltzer commercial. And it was 2 really good seltzer commercials today. They had the doubles commercial, the stand-in commercial where Don Cheadle had a stunt double, and they had a guy that looked like, I thought it was Sylvester Stallone. They got me good. He took off the sunglasses. It wasn't him. They had another guy and somebody else on the red carpet, and it was a good commercial. I like that one. Number 6 was the Tide commercial with the Jason Alexander hoodie, where he's got all this hoodie with all these different faces, and every time something's happening to the hoodie, it makes a different face. Thought that was a really good commercial. I actually enjoyed that commercial from Tide. Number 5 was the E-Trade commercial. E-Trade commercial with the kid getting stronger and the Karate Kid song playing. You're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep you down. You're the best. And he was at the end, he was like this, and he's pointing. You know, that was a funny commercial. I really enjoyed that E-Trade commercial. Number 4 was the Paramount streaming app commercials. There were about 4 of them. We had already seen like 1 or 2 of them, but Beavis and Butthead talking about, you said crack. Crack. Like, that was a funny commercial. All the Paramount ones were funny. The little puppet was talking about his arm. It was frozen, and they said, we might have to, you know, think about amputating. He was like, hey, let's talk about this, and the golfer knocks the joint, you know, off. I thought they had some good ones. So the Paramount streaming app commercials, there are about 4 of them, were funny. That was number 4 on my list. Now we get to the top 3. The Doritos 3D commercial with Matthew McConaughey was a great commercial. Doritos every year kills it. Normally they're the best every year. But they were number 3. I liked the commercial. He was flat the whole commercial. And like it killed me. He was at Starbucks or wherever waiting for his coffee. And she's calling his name. And he's sideways so you don't even see him. And then he turns and he's right there. I thought that commercial was funny. He was flapping in the wind as he was driving and stuff. I like that commercial. Then he gets into the Doritos machine, gets a bag of the 3D Doritos, eats it. Of course, he takes shape, but now he's stuck in the machine. I love that commercial. Thought it was a really good one. Number 2, the Rocket Mortgage commercials with Tracy Morgan. The Pretty Sure versus the Definite commercial. What's the difference between Pretty Sure and like Absolute or whatever? It was 2 of them, and they were both funny as hell. So I thought the Rocket Mortgage killed it with their 2 commercials. And if not for my number 1, I think the Rocket Mortgage commercials would have been the best of the night. But my number 1 commercial was the Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade commercial with the lemons falling. Those lemons were just obliterating people. I mean, taking cats out in that commercial. I was dying laughing watching that one. Really enjoyed that Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade commercial. That was my number 1 commercial. And a honorable mention is the M&M's commercial, which was one of the first ones shown on the night with all the M&M's. That one was good, but it missed out on the top 10. So Anyhow, that is about it. We've hit our hour mark. The Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers get it done in tremendous fashion, 31-9. Who would have thought that Super Bowl 55, the best quarterback matchup we had ever seen on paper, Brady versus Mahomes. You know, you got a league MVP, Super Bowl MVP versus a league MVP, Super Bowl MVP. They've met 4 times before. It's 2-2. Every one of these matchups before this one was close down to the wire. And we get a dud tonight. A true ass whooping of epic proportions. Never would have thought we would have gotten this. But got a super chat here from my man Atlas. First and foremost, congratulations, Atlas. You've been waiting for this. You and Ree have been waiting for this moment. It's here. And I'm happy for you guys, man. You guys celebrate this the entire offseason. Relish this. Because you don't know when it's going to come again, as you can attest to. The last time it happened was in 2002. Don't know how old you were. Don't know how big of a Bucs fan you were back in 2002. But you don't know when you're going to get this again. You could be waiting for the rest of your life. So enjoy this like it's never going to happen again. Okay? Because it's so hard. This is not the NBA. The best teams don't always win. Enjoy this. But that said, let me read Atlas's super chat. He says, this team was disrespected all year. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. Not bad for a team with 1 Pro Bowler and no All Pros. Thank you for your coverage, Lou, and I'm here for the next. Again, Atlas, you're right about the disrespect. I was totally guilty of it early in the season, before the season started. I talked about this team when they had that little patch where they had lost 3 in a row and they were struggling. And I said, this team isn't a Super Bowl team. And I felt vindicated after that loss to the Rams, I believe it was. Felt vindicated. Like, yeah, they're 7-5. They're struggling. They got their asses whooped on primetime television. I didn't see that one coming against New Orleans. I felt vindicated. Like, yeah, Brady's not coming over here having success year 1. Just like LeBron in L.A. in year 1, you got to come over here and take some lumps, man. Now, what you do after that, I ain't got nothing to do with it. But year 1, nah. To hell with that. Brady came over year 1, brought some dudes with him, went and brought Gronk with him, told Fournette, come on. A.B., come on, you too. Loaded up the troops. It felt like maybe too many cooks in the kitchen. Nah, it turned out to be a perfect 5-star 4-course meal. They scraped the plate with the competition, cleaned it up, slid it over there and said, hey, we done. Took their napkin out, wiped their mouth, slammed it down on the table and said, y'all do the dishes. We out. Hell of a season. And the scary part is, again, yep, Levante David's a free agent. Yep, I get it. Chris Godwin's a free agent. I understand. Can't have everybody back. We'll see what they do. But what's stopping these Bucs from doing it again? That's the thing that I am intrigued by. Like, what's stopping these boys from doing this again? Who's stopping them in the NFC? Mahomes and company, they'll be back. I got no doubts. If they're healthy, they'll be back in the Super Bowl again. You'll see those boys again. Who's stopping Tampa from meeting them there again next year? That's the real question. Because there's nobody in their division. It's not Atlanta. It's not Carolina. New Orleans is about to hit a nice, hard downturn. I don't respect Green Bay anymore after what they did this year. Who's stopping them? Maybe San Francisco gets their shit together again. They got to figure out quarterback. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who is going to stop the Bucs from getting back to the Super Bowl? Got another super chat. This one is from Metaphor. My man Metaphor. Thank you for your third super chat of the night. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, question is, was Atlas a Brady hater before this year? I can't answer that. You got to ask Atlas that. Look, look at this. I've been a Brady hater throughout my fanalist career, okay? But I respect Brady. Don't get the two confused. Just because I don't like you and don't want you to win doesn't mean I don't respect you. I respected the B&B winning factory. I told you guys, you don't have to like it. Hell, you don't have to love him. But you must respect him. And I told you guys, say goodnight to the bad guys. Because you'll never see a villain like the New England Patriots again. I told you guys that. So I said respect it for what it is. However, if Brady would have ended up in Washington, you would have become a Brady fan. Just like that. So it doesn't matter if Atlas was or wasn't a Brady fan or he was a hater before. He's in Tampa and he just won him a chip. He's a Brady fan now. That's all that matters. Okay. Vincent Coe. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Vincent Coe writes, late for the party. Congratulations to the GOAT. Is this game going to affect Mahomes' legacy though? No. Also, I love that Russ Mahomes meme on your Twitter. I feel that. This has no impact. This isn't like Aaron Rodgers losing in the NFC Championship game for the fourth time and only winning once. That's not this kind of loss. You know, you can make a bunch of excuses. If you're a Mahomes apologist, first of all, we don't have to make any excuses for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes didn't play awful in this game. This wasn't a Mahomes loss. It's the guys around him that didn't give him a chance. Here's Mahomes with one foot severely impacted by a toe that they said probably is going to need surgery after the season's over. This guy's running around for his life the entire game. He's dipping, he's dodging, he's avoiding. He's got guys draped all over him. As he's getting sacked, he throws it. And it's hitting guys in their damn face masks and they're dropping the football. He's doing everything he can do to stay alive. And guys, throws a perfect pass to Travis Kelce as a guy is draped all over him. 25 yards down the field, and Kelce flat out drops it. This was not a Mahomes loss. This is a Kansas City Chiefs loss, but more importantly, anybody that watched this game says, well, shit, Mahomes left it out there. He did everything. I didn't feel like Aaron Rodgers left it out there after the game. I felt like there was a lot more left in the tank, and Aaron let his team down by not giving them everything he had. Mahomes on one toe, and I get it. Mahomes is a young guy. Rodgers is not. So there's a difference on what you're willing to do with your body and what you're willing to risk and what you're willing not to. But this has, first of all, he lost to the greatest of all times. You don't ever feel bad about losing to the GOAT when you feel like you did everything you could do. I didn't feel like Rodgers did that. But he did lose to the GOAT. He did lose to the GOAT. But he was at home. It was a different set of circumstances. He was at home. He had all of his weaponry for the most part. Yeah, his left tackle, just like the Chiefs' left tackle, was out. But he had ample opportunities. He missed shit. Guys running wide open, he missed guys. Mahomes wasn't doing that. Mahomes didn't even have time. He didn't even have time. Had he had the time Rodgers had against this Buccaneers defense, he would have did some things. He didn't have time at all. So no, I don't think that this affects Mahomes' legacy at all. As far as the Russ meme on my timeline, I don't even know what you're talking about. So you got me curious. I'm going to check and see if I got anything up here. I don't even see anything. I'm going to just take your word for it and say, okay, yeah. Hell yeah, that's a dope-ass Russ meme on my timeline. I don't even know what it is. But hey, Vincent Cole, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. And my man Vincent Cole says, double up, greatly appreciate you, Vincent Cole, for doubling up, who writes, just gonna double up right quick. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the support. So with that said, one more time, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network, turn on that notification bell, and hit that like button. Really appreciate every single one of you out there. And again, I just want to send a big ass shout out to my man Ree, who's my guy, and Atlas. Those are the two Bucs fans that I can remember as far back as I can that have been supporting the Louie T Network and have lived and died with every single Bucs season, every Jameis Winston interception that blew a game, every late game collapse by the defense, and they come up here and we mourn together. Their team just missed out on the playoffs. My team was garbage, and we'd sit here and we'd be like, man, this sucks. One day, maybe it'll be us one day. Well, their one day came this year. And it may not be one day. Maybe next year as well. We may be back here talking about the same shit. But you know what was cool? They went through us to get there. And we may be back again next year. Who's to say? But feels like we're on the up and up. Feels like you're on the up and up. I mean, I don't know for how long. I don't know how long Brady's going to continue to do this for, but you're on the up and up. We're on the up and up. And in this playoff run, it sounds good on paper, but when you look at it, but they went through that vaunted Washington defense. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen and company went through them like hot butter through knife, or hot knife through butter. Drew Brees, not the same Drew Brees we've come to know and love, but it's Drew Brees nonetheless. 5 years from now, we won't remember that Drew Brees couldn't throw it more than 10 yards. We'll just say, hey, they tore Drew Brees' ass up and sent him into retirement. Picked him off 3 times, sent him on his way. Aaron Rodgers. And I get it. Lambeau had some fans, but it's not quite to say I don't give a shit. Went through Rodgers, MVP Rodgers, in Lambeau. Tossed those boys out the postseason. Get out of here. And then went home and got rid of Patrick Mahomes. Unbelievable. What a run to the Super Bowl. And I hate saying this, but don't disrespect Tom Brady. I've done it for years. And I always end up either apologizing or saying the same shit I'm about to say now. Don't disrespect Tom Brady. Don't disrespect the GOAT. Don't do it. A wise man, I'm going to leave you with this. A wise man once told me, if you come for the king, you better not miss. You come for the top spot, you better not miss. 10 Super Bowl appearances for Tom Brady. 7 Super Bowl championships. Do you understand how hard that is to do? Football to me is the ultimate team sports, the ultimate team game. But there's a direct correlation to Tom Brady and Super Bowl success. I don't know if you can say that about any other player that has ever played in this league. Joe Montana was fantastic. He didn't win 7 Super Bowls. Steve Young was fantastic. He didn't win 7 Super Bowls. Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw. I can go on and on and on of all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks with multiple Super Bowl rings. They did not win 7 championships. And, you know, we wanted to talk about Belichick's greatness and who was it, the chicken or the egg? Was it Belichick? Was it Brady? Well, it was both of them. But now we're seeing a little bit that, hey, for as good as Brady or Belichick was, this Tom Brady fella is pretty goddamn good. And he took an organization that couldn't get out of 7-9 for the life of them. I mean, they could not avoid that 7-9 and 9-7 trap. They were stuck in that rut. He goes there, and again, they had talent. Let's not act like Tampa Bay was this destitute team that didn't have talent, that was not even close. He took a team with talent, but they didn't have the experience. They hadn't been here before. He elevated these boys to the Super Bowl. Say what you want. This goddamn Tom Brady, man. He's something else. That's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me on this Super Bowl 55 breakdown. We're going to head into the offseason now. We're going to talk more about this Super Bowl at great lengths tomorrow on the podcast. But if you're a Buccaneers fan, celebrate! Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers just won the damn Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. A feat that nobody thought you were going to be able to get it done, let alone busting their ass by 22 points. This thing wasn't even close. The score doesn't do it any justice. This was an outright ass thrashing of the highest order. This was impressive. And I know you are in the moment, and you should be. But my big question for the offseason is, who's going to stop them from getting back here? Really, either one of these teams. Who's stopping them from getting? There's a little bit more resistance in the AFC, but I think the Chiefs are going to be motivated by this ass whooping. They'll be back. Who's stopping Kansas City from getting back here? Right now, my Super Bowl prediction is we'll see these two teams playing again next year. We'll see. But that's going to do it for me. Your man, Louie T. Man. Bucs, 31. Chiefs, 9. They didn't even make it to double-digit points. Real quick, who won the MVP, guys? I'm pretty sure y'all know. Y'all tell me real quick before I get out of here. Who won the MVP? Who'd they give it to? Please tell me it was Devin White. He deserved it. Anybody out there real quick before we go? MVP of the game was? Somebody give it to me real quick. I'm going to wait for a second. See if y'all can tell me who the MVP was. They probably gave it to Brady's ass. He had 3 touchdowns, 21 to 29, really high completion percentage. I think he was 21 to 29. Yeah, 201. Probably gave shit to Brady. They should have given it to somebody. Brady's got enough damn MVPs in the Super Bowl. He didn't deserve this one. Give that shit to somebody else. Brady. Okay. Thank you. I figured it was Brady's ass. Should have been goddamn Devin White. He's a stud. Anyway. Thank you for that, guys. Devin White is so goddamn good. Man, he is so good. Jesus Christ. After Aaron Donald, Devin White has the potential to be the next best defensive player on defense. He's not there yet. You know, small sample size, obviously. But watching him throughout these playoffs, watching him all season, rather, and he always stands out. Always. And there was a play at the beginning of this game where I said, you got to be effing kidding me. And first of all, there's another stupid-ass play call by Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes running speed option in the first quarter. Why? Again, don't get me started on that. But he starts on the opposite side of the field where the run is taking place. He outruns the offensive lineman and is the first one to the ball carrier and tackles him for like a 2-yard loss. And I'm just saying to myself, how in the did you get there, dude? He's a blur. He got an interception. He should have been the MVP. I thought the interception would be the icing on the cake, but whatever. All right. Y'all get out of here. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bucs fans, enjoy the night. Enjoy the offseason. Shit. I wouldn't let this die until the next time we play a game. But until then, you guys have a great night.
LouieTeeNetwork.